We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk is charged in a murder for hire plot.
Lil Durk's real name is Durk Bank, and he is from Chicago. This is his mugshot from Florida, where he was arrested last night and is being held without bond. This comes only hours after 5 people associated with his music business were also accused in taking part in.
Lil Durk just got betrayed by one of his closest friends, and he is furious. Allegedly, this so-called friend was wired up, secretly recording and spying on Durk, feeding the feds information about him for over 2 years. This year started on a high for Durk, winning his first Grammy, but now it's ending with him behind bars. Even more unbelievable, Durk was warned that there might be a snitch in his crew, but he didn't realize it would come from someone so close. Today we're diving into how this alleged betrayal by one of his own could mean a long, grim future for Durk in prison. When 2024 kicked off, Durk was unstoppable. His song, All My Life with J. Cole was breaking streaming records, leading to his first ever Grammy win. At that moment, it seemed like the sky was the limit. But now, Durk's shining year has taken a dark and twisted turn, as he faces charges linked to an alleged plot against Quando Rondo. And if you need a quick refresher on how he ended up in this mess, here's the backstory. Durk was charged in a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo, reportedly in retaliation for Quando's supposed involvement in King Von's tragic death in 2020 in Atlanta. 5 OTF crew members, Vonnie, Didi, Flocka, Brownies, and Boogie, were also arrested by federal agents, linked to the fatal incident involving Quando's cousin in 2022. Durk's crew was reportedly out for revenge over King Von's death. While Durk's name wasn't directly mentioned in the indictment that led to his OTF crew's arrest, there's a shocking claim that 5 of his guys used a credit card linked to the OTF label to set up a bounty on Quando. Allegedly, they used that same card to book flights from Chicago to California after learning where Quando was hiding out. Vonnie, one of the crew, allegedly went all out, flying himself on a private jet from Miami to California to oversee the entire mission. He reportedly organized hotel rooms, rental cars, ski masks, everything needed to carry out their plan. They even rented sedans with fake plates for the job. When they finally tracked Quando down, finding him in a car with his cousin, they allegedly opened fire. Tragically, Quando's cousin was the one who ended up hit. Afterward, the crew fled to a nearby In-N-Out burger, where they allegedly discussed payment for the hit, then left California the very next day. For years, Durk has passionately denied that OTF is a gang, but this entire incident casts a huge shadow over that claim. After hearing about his crew's arrests, Durk tried to make a quick escape by booking flights to both Dubai and Switzerland. He even arranged a private jet to Italy, but before he could board, the feds swooped in and stopped him. And just to add to the mystery, Durk reportedly lost his phone under suspicious circumstances about a week before he was taken in. Then the rumor mill started churning. Whispers began that the feds had insider help from someone close to Durk. The rumors soon exploded, pointing to OTF Jam, a longtime friend of Durk's, as the alleged informant. Things heated up even more when photos surfaced of Jam sitting in an interrogation room, casually eating McDonald's. That image alone sent shockwaves through fans and seemed to confirm the worst, that Jam had snitched. It's also rumored that Jam, who's now in prison, had been wearing a wire around Durk for nearly 2 years. Allegedly, he spilled everything to the police, including details about the plot that led to Durk and the OTF crew's arrests. DJ Academics added fuel to the fire by posting on Instagram with the caption, "Numerous reports online are suggesting that another OTF affiliate, OTF Jam, may have wore a wire in the case involving Durk and others." Jam reportedly served 12 years in prison, and upon release received a hefty $50,000 welcome home gift from Lil Durk. But despite this gesture, tensions between them were simmering under the surface. After Jam's recent arrest, his child's mother allegedly tried reaching out to Durk to secure a lawyer for him. However, it's said that Durk ignored her calls, sparking heated exchanges between the two. According to DJ Academics, threats were soon thrown around, with Jam's side reportedly feeling slighted, saying, "You're not supposed to brush off my call when I need something." Jam's resentment seemed to deepen as rumors swirled that he began cooperating with the feds shortly after his release, a timeline that coincides with the tragic incident involving Quando Rondo's cousin. Jam even dropped a track where he supposedly spilled details, alleging that Didi had the weapon, Boogie financed the mission, and hinting that Durk himself referenced the whole incident in his own lyrics. Now, Durk finds himself in this mess largely because Jam allegedly snitched on him. The craziest part, 50 Cent actually warned him about this exact situation. During a recent interview with The Breakfast Club, 50 revealed that he once met with Durk in New York and immediately sensed something was off about the crew Durk was hanging with. 50 advised him to be cautious around his inner circle and to watch his interactions closely. That warning from 50 made Durk start questioning things that had happened before. Back in 2021, Durk's home was invaded in a terrifying incident while he was inside with his girlfriend. A group of intruders broke in and opened fire. Durk later confided to 50 that he was shocked by the breach because he hadn't shared his address widely. Living in a gated community and keeping his location discreet, Durk suspected it wasn't a random attack. It felt like someone had leaked his whereabouts. If we go by Durk's own suspicions, this might mean he's had a mole close to him for quite some time, possibly since before the 2021 home invasion. With the arrest that came in 2022, it's looking more and more like someone within his circle has been feeding information to the outside for years. To make matters worse, Durk might not have just one informant, but multiple people potentially snitching on him. OTF Jam only got out around 2022, and now his alleged cooperation with the feds has reportedly helped them build a case portraying Lil Durk as the mastermind and financier behind it all. Evidence from Durk's phone allegedly shows texts instructing one of his crew members to avoid using traceable names when booking flights, a detail that's only adding to the federal case. If convicted, Durk could face serious prison time. The US Justice Department's guidelines indicate that he could get a minimum of 10 years with a fine if convicted on certain charges. But if the murder-for-hire plot led to injury, that could increase to 20 years. With the death of Rondo's cousin involved, Durk could even face life imprisonment or in extreme cases, the death penalty. And it seems the feds are pushing for the maximum. In a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, LAPD Chief Dominic Choi suggested that, given the resources invested in this case, the feds want to see Durk get a life sentence. He noted that cases spanning multiple states and jurisdictions are complex, often requiring collaboration across departments. Chief Choi added, "This arrest is the culmination of the combined efforts of our partners in the U.S. Attorney's Office and the LAPD's Operation West Bureau homicide detectives, who discovered that Lil Durk was involved in this heinous crime." He emphasized the hundreds of hours of surveillance, search warrants, forensic analysis, and cross-state travel that were crucial in bringing this case to a head. It looks like the feds are determined to make an example out of Durk and his OTF crew. With this being such a high-profile case, they'll be aiming for a big win, which could mean Durk's career might be over just as he was reaching new heights right after his Grammy win in February. While it hasn't been officially confirmed if Jam is the direct cause of Durk's downfall, this story is definitely going to be one that drags on, and we're bound to see more jaw-dropping details come to light. So what do you all think? Was OTF Jam really the snitch? And could this be the end of Lil Durk? Share your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned because this drama is far from finished. Keep watching our channel for all the latest updates on Lil Durk's case. And hey, Rizzle fam, although King Von is no longer with us, his name still reverberates through the headlines. Just recently, more new details surfaced about the 2019 incident involving Von and Lil Durk. It turns out King Von may have been the one responsible all along, while Lil Durk was innocent in that case. But is there more beneath the surface in this not-so-new investigation? What really went down, and how did Durk manage to dodge such a heavy charge? The answer lies with Fulton County DA Fani Willis, a name that strikes fear in Atlanta's criminal underworld. Known for her strict stance on crime, DA Willis has shown she's willing to go to any length to bring offenders to justice. From the moment she stepped into office, she pledged to reduce Atlanta's crime rate, and she's been making good on that promise ever since. Just look at the high-profile YSL RICO case. Without her relentless dedication, this case against YSL, which has seen Thugger, Gunna, and several YSL members behind bars, might not even exist. And Willis isn't letting up. The judge in these cases has denied bond release repeatedly, keeping the accused locked up until their trials. And YSL is far from the only group under DA Willis's watchful eye. Just last month, she went after another criminal group, sticking to her word of delivering justice, just as she promised when she took office. She's fearlessly indicting offenders, and with each move, she's making it clear that she's here to clean up Atlanta. And many believe Atlanta's drill rap scene has quieted down significantly, especially with the looming threat of RICO indictments. It seems like many rappers have decided it might be wise to put away their Dracos and Blickies. But despite her efforts, even DA Fani Willis can't take down everyone in her sights. Just recently, news broke that Willis is planning to drop the attempted murder charges against Lil Durk from 2019. Naturally, a public statement followed this decision, and here's what her spokesperson said. This office has declined to indict Derek Banks, aka Lil Durk, for the February 5th, 2019 incident because insufficient evidence exists to prove his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. The statement went on to clarify that King Von was in fact the person responsible, not Durk. It continued, if co-defendant Devin Bennett, aka King Von, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for this incident. The Atlanta PD had evidence to establish probable cause to arrest him. So that infamous 2019 case where Lil Durk was reportedly caught on camera shooting someone wasn't entirely accurate. The story the authorities pieced together turned out to have flaws. So let's rewind to 2019 to understand what really happened. Back in May of that year, a warrant was issued with Lil Durk's name prominently on it. Durk was on the brink of being taken in due to his connection to a shooting incident, and he wasn't alone in this mess. Alongside him was his close friend and fellow rapper, King Von. The two were allegedly involved in a murder attempt outside Atlanta's The Varsity restaurant on February 5th, 2019. That night, Alexander Weatherspoon was tragically caught in a drive-by shooting, suffering a gunshot wound to his thigh. He was rushed to the hospital, but his life couldn't be saved. Before the incident unfolded, Weatherspoon had reportedly been robbed of his jewelry, his car, and around $30,000 in cash. This led to a pile of charges against both Von and Durk, including aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Durk turned himself into authorities, declaring he had nothing to hide and wasn't afraid to face the charges. As we know, both Durk and Von were eventually released on bond, but in 2020, tragedy struck again. King Von lost his life in a separate incident when he was shot by Lil Tim during an altercation with rapper Quando Rondo. Lil Durk's case lingered for years, remaining unresolved until now. Fani Willis recently announced that the charges against Durk were being dropped, revealing that the supposed video evidence showing Durk firing at the victim was inaccurate. If the evidence had been solid, it surely would have been used against him. So how did Durk manage to walk away unscathed while King Von was named as the one who would have faced charges if he were still alive? This situation raises some puzzling questions. If both Durk and Von were there that night and supposedly caught on camera, how could the authorities decide to clear Durk and pin the blame solely on Von? It seems there are two possible explanations. First, the ATL Police Department might have re-examined the footage and determined that the person with Von wasn't actually Lil Durk, suggesting they may have jumped to conclusions initially. Alternatively, and perhaps more likely, they might have chosen to place the blame on Von since he's no longer around to face trial. Of course, there could be other factors at play, but these two scenarios seem the most plausible. In any case, it looks like Durk's legal team managed to leverage the blame it on the deceased tactic to remove him from the spotlight. This outcome hints at Durk's considerable influence and connections. Escaping charges in a case this high profile is no small feat. Fans are catching on, and many aren't shy about sharing their theories. One person commented, "It's obvious that Lil Durk's lawyers put the blame on King Von, probably saying Von did everything while Durk had nothing to do with it. If Von were alive, this case would have gone down differently." Another chimed in, "Boy, does money and influence talk. Durk's got connections with some powerful people. Unreal." These reactions raise a lot of questions about consistency in Atlanta law enforcement. After all, they rounded up numerous YSL members, keeping Gunna and Thug locked up without bond, despite reportedly having thin evidence. Yet they chose to drop charges against Durk, someone they initially claimed was caught on camera committing a crime. There's a clear disconnect, and it's making fans wonder what's really going on. For now, we'll have to wait and see how things play out, especially with the YSL case still unfolding. What once looked like a grim outcome for everyone involved with Young Slime life might not be as bleak as it seemed. But until more developments come next year, any conclusions are still up in the air. It's hard not to notice the inconsistencies though. Maybe Durk is a unique case, an exception with enough clout and a powerful legal team capable of turning the tide. Without such resources, who knows if he'd be in this same position today. This whole situation with Lil Durk has a lot of people thinking back to NBA YoungBoy's big win against gun charges, where his lawyers pulled off an impressive victory. Maybe Durk's team did something similar here. What do you all think about these latest developments? Does Durk just have a powerhouse legal team, or did the police make a major error? And what about Thugger and Gunna? Do you believe there's enough evidence to keep them locked up, or are they being held for other reasons? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated. Lil Durk definitely stirs mixed opinions. Whether you're a fan or not, there's no denying he's faced serious tragedy. Some might even say he's cursed, while others argue it's just the harsh reality of growing up in Chicago's intense gang culture, a place where, sadly, survival can often mean having no choice but to live by the streets' unwritten rules. Lil Durk's story caught people's attention as far back as 2014, when he appeared on Vlad TV and revealed that he had lost 20 to 30 friends to gang violence or general violence over his life. And that was 7 years before this video in 2021, meaning more people close to him have likely been lost since then. But wait, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before diving into the present, let's explore who Lil Durk really is and why his life has been marked by more tragedy than most might realize. Born in 1992 in Chicago, Durk's real name is Durk Derek Banks. From the start, life wasn't easy. His father was in prison when Durk was born, which meant he often struggled with hunger in his early years. As he grew up, Durk began building a social media presence by sharing his early music online. Eventually, he got pulled into Chicago's street scene, joining the Black Disciples gang. This path brought immediate challenges, as he faced his first arrest in 2011 for possession of a firearm with a defaced serial number, a charge that hinted at the rocky road ahead. Durk managed to get those early charges reduced, avoiding a lengthy sentence, but he still had to do some time. In 2011, realizing that his singles were gaining traction, he decided to take the rap game seriously. He started releasing music on Dat Piff, and while a deal with Chief Keef didn't pan out, it was already clear he had the potential to make it big if he kept pushing. His hard work paid off when he was named to the 2014 XXL freshman class, and shortly after, he released his fourth mixtape, Signed to the Streets, under Def Jam alongside his collective Only the Family. But even as his career was on the rise, tragedy continued to follow him relentlessly. By now, Durk claims that he gets phone calls almost every other day, bearing the grim news that someone close to him has died. While each loss still hits hard, it's become heartbreakingly routine. His first real loss was his close friend Lil Mo, inspiring him to dedicate some of his earliest songs in Mo's memory. Later, he lost another friend, D-Thang, who was shot when Durk was just 18. Durk honored D-Thang with a shoulder tattoo, a tribute that became a tradition, marking the memories of friends he's lost over the years. One of Durk's early breakout singles, L's Anthem, was a raw, intense track that took aim at his ops, filled with direct disses. This approach brought some serious risks, but it's clear he was writing from experience. The disses stirred up a lot of heat from his rivals, and even though he was constantly focused on music, he was still tied to the streets. As Durk's fame grew, so did the danger, and it became almost inevitable that he and those close to him would continue to face losses, maybe even more than before. In 2015, during a performance in Philly, the stakes got real. What was supposed to be a regular show took a dark turn when someone wearing an OTF shirt rolled up and started shooting at Durk's tour bus. Though Durk wasn't harmed, one person tragically lost their life that night, and yet even this isn't where things end. Some believe there's something even darker surrounding Durk's life. A video has circulated online for years, claiming that Durk has been under a curse for the past decade, a spooky and supernatural shadow that seems to follow him, bringing one tragic event after another. Whether you believe in curses or not, the string of misfortune around him is undeniable. This supposed curse surrounding Lil Durk seems to cast a dark shadow not only over him, but also over those closest to him, with tragic outcomes. Those impacted by this so-called curse have been hospitalized, sent to prison, and some have even lost their lives. While we're not here to confirm or deny the existence of any curse, there are undeniably eerie coincidences that fuel the myth. Take J Money, for example, often cited as the first victim of this curse. J Money, who was from O Block, was allegedly set up. Around 2 p.m., he was supposed to meet up with someone he was romantically involved with, but instead, he was ambushed by ops. In a desperate attempt to escape, he fled through nearby back alleys, only to be fatally shot in the head. Another figure often linked to the curse was Pluto, one of Durk's close friends. Tragically, Pluto lost his life in a severe car accident. His car reportedly flipped over multiple times. Following the deaths of Pluto and J Money, Durk took to Instagram to express his grief, paying tribute to his fallen friends and mourning their untimely losses. These heartbreaking incidents only seem to deepen the mystery surrounding the curse that many fans believe haunts Durk and those around him. Durk also memorialized Pluto with tattoos in his honor. Another friend tied to the supposed curse was D Rose, though his case is a bit different. While he didn't lose his life, D Rose was sentenced to 40 years in prison. At just 17, D Rose and some friends reportedly fired into a parked vehicle, tragically injuring a 14-year-old boy. Given the severity of the crime, he faced serious consequences. However, some speculate there may have been corruption involved in the handling of his case. Another individual linked to this curse is Bob O, who was involved in a robbery that went horribly wrong. During the break-in, he and his associates injured a 40-year-old man who later passed away in the hospital, leading to Bob O's charges being elevated to murder. After spending 2 years in prison, he discovered that his right to a speedy trial had been violated, resulting in his release. But soon after his release, while riding in an SUV, a white SUV full of ops pulled up and opened fire on his vehicle, tragically ending his life. The chain of events almost feels surreal, but that's reportedly how it happened. And the curse doesn't stop there. Even the music video for This Ain't What You Want is said to carry dark energy, adding yet another layer to the mystery surrounding Durk and those close to him. It's hard not to notice a pattern when so many people who appear in Durk's videos end up facing tragic or criminal outcomes. Having one cursed video would be strange enough, but having multiple is what makes this theory so compelling. Rumors began circulating on Reddit, and since then, the idea of a curse has only grown. One person linked to this curse is BUZZBITES, who was arrested in 2014 for a murder that had occurred back in 2009. The police picked him up from Lil Durk's house, where they found 2 guns on the table, putting both BUZZBITES and Durk in trouble. Since Durk was on probation, this was a violation, and BUZZBITES faced renewed scrutiny for a crime he had previously managed to avoid charges on. In the end, both Durk and BUZZBITES saw their charges dropped, but the situation only fueled the notion of the curse. Another figure tied to the curse theory is 5 Star, who faced serious charges after selling a substance containing fentanyl in Iowa. After consuming the drug, multiple people overdosed in their cars but were initially revived with Narcan. However, they returned for more, and tragically, one man died from an apparent overdose after the EMTs left. As a result, 5 Star received a 20-year prison sentence. The series of events surrounding Durk and those close to him paints an unsettling picture, one that's hard to ignore for fans and observers alike. Whether it's mere coincidence or something more, the narrative of the curse continues to capture people's attention. Another name often tied to Lil Durk's supposed curse is Capo, a member of Chief Keef's Glow Gang. In 2015, Capo was tragically killed in a drive-by shooting, taking fatal shots to his torso and hip. In a heartbreaking twist, the driver sped off, leading police on a chase before crashing into a bus stop where he struck and killed a young mother's baby. Despite the severity of the crime, the driver received only an 8-year sentence, and no one was ever held accountable for Capo's death. To honor his friend, Durk got a tattoo of Capo's name on his wrist, a tribute to yet another friend lost to Chicago's violent streets. And while we can't delve into every incident tied to this so-called curse here, it's safe to say that Capo's story is just the beginning. If you're curious to learn more, Reddit is one of the best places to find discussions on the curse surrounding Lil Durk. There's a wealth of theories and eerie stories that go beyond the videos themselves, connecting even more tragedies and strange coincidences to Durk's life. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There's truly so much more to uncover. Before we wrap up, let's be real. There's likely no actual curse here, people. We're not here to ruin the fun of a good internet theory, but it's important not to downplay the very real tragedy surrounding Lil Durk and his circle. In all reality, this isn't just some spooky online mystery. It's the harsh reality of growing up around gang violence. This is what life can look like in Chicago, where these kinds of incidents happen far too often. Now that we've given some background on the theory, what do you all think? Is Lil Durk actually cursed? Did he do something to bring this curse upon himself? Or are these videos really some kind of haunted phenomenon? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more rap news and updates straight to your feed. And as always, have a fantastic rest of your day, and remember, keep it real.